that I was done stealing. That I didn't want to do it anymore. I knew it was stupid. I knew it was jeopardizing my future. I didn't want to take that risk. And so I told him that. I said, listen, I'm done. I'm not going to steal anymore. And I wish, as 8th graders, I could tell you that they looked at me and they said, well, okay, we can appreciate that. We'll do all that we can in our power to ensure that you're not pressured to go back to your evil ways. No, they didn't really like it, and they made that last half of my 8th grade year not a whole lot of fun. But then you fast forward to about 7, 8, maybe 9 years later, I'm not sure exactly, when 3 out of those 5 guys got caught stealing cars. And 2 of them are in prison now for no less than 10 years. Because they continued on a path that they probably didn't even really think about. And there's no doubt in my mind that there's a good chance that I might have been right there with them had something not happened along the way. Because we very often don't think through the repercussions of our choices. We only think of what's going on right in front of us. And I understand that. That's life. Sometimes you don't have time to really think through all those different things. But the beauty of that game that we play, the fingers, is this. When you make a decision ahead of time, when you think things through, when you make a decision ahead of time, it's so much easier to stick by that decision. So that when the choices arise, you already know what your answer is going to be. And part of the new cool is recognizing that the things that oftentimes we think are cool because of what other people try to influence us. Because whether or not you understand this, believe this, doesn't really matter. We are so greatly influenced by the people that we surround ourselves with. Our entire lives are influenced by the 5 to 6 people that we spend the majority of our time with. They have done study upon study upon study. And the question becomes, are your people in your life influencing you to become a better person? Or they try to drag you down to their level because they want somebody to be miserable with. You'll hear people talk about peer pressure and how peer pressure, you know what? I don't believe peer pressure exists. I believe peer influence exists. But I know deep down that each and every one of us still recognizes our power of choice. And all you have to do is look at relationships. Because how many of you have ever had a friend that was going out with, dating someone that you knew for sure they shouldn't be dating, and you try to tell them that, and they're just like, you don't understand them like I do. I love them. They're my twilight. There's nothing that you can do that will stop them. You cannot put enough pressure on them to get them to change. We can influence the people around us, and that's why it's so important to get involved with groups that will influence you for the better. I was fortunate that I got involved in Teen Institute when I was in school. The Teen Institute actually laid out the path for me to become a speaker. When I was in 11th grade, I went to the Teen Institute that summer, and one of the activities was to write in a journal where you were going to be 5, 10, 15 years from now. And within that journal entry, I wrote down that I wanted to be a professional speaker. It helped me figure out where I wanted to go in life and what I wanted to do. Because when we make the decisions ahead of time, it's so much easier to stick by those decisions. I am not here to tell you what those decisions are. Okay, that's not my job. If you want to talk about those decisions, you have a specialist here at school. Okay? Mr. Kipling, who was up here doing the introduction, he's the type of person that can help you think about those decisions. We are not here to tell you what to do or not to do. Because we always understand that you're not going to listen to us if we do that. But what we want you to try to understand is we have been there. We have seen what has happened to other people. One of the greatest attributes in life is recognizing that there are 2 amazing things that you have going for you. Number 1 is you can learn from your own experiences. As you go through life, when things happen, you learn from your own experiences. And then 2, you can learn from other people's experiences. That's the beauty of being a human being. Most of the things you see out in life in the animal kingdom, animals do not have the same size brain that we have. We have the ability to learn from other people's experiences. If you're a fish, okay, and you're swimming around in the ocean and whatnot, and another fish right next to you, all of a sudden, a piece of food pops up in front of that fish. And you see that fish grab that food and all of a sudden get yanked away to whoever knows where because some fisherman just yanked him on the line. If you were a human being as a fish, you would look at that and be like, well, I'm not going to do that. If you're walking down the street with one of your friends and a hamburger falls out of the sky, dangles in front of their face, and they grab that hamburger and all of a sudden they disappear, and another hamburger falls out of the sky, are you really going to grab that hamburger? Some of you are like, well, if I was really hungry, I might, but I made it all the way. Now, you get to see what happens to other people. That's part of our lives. That's part of the beauty of being a human being. We get to see other people's experience. One of I have a good friend who always used to talk about this. He said, this is why people always say that experience is the best teacher. And he says, yeah, experience is a great teacher, but other people's experiences can be just as good of a teacher as well. Because he said, listen, I don't need to get shot to know that it's probably going to hurt to get shot. But by going with experience is the best teacher, and I don't really need to worry about it because, it hasn't happened to me yet. And that's great, fine and dandy, but reality is you can see what happens to other people. Because there are going to be things in life that you're going to have to deal with that you will not have any control over. And that's difficult for people to accept. Life is full of things that you will not have control over. The weather's a perfect example. You can never control what the weather's doing. Yet people too oftentimes in life allow themselves to get angry or upset when there's a delay causing their plans because of the weather. Because the reality is life is full of change. Things are always changing all the time. We live in a world of non-stop evolution, revolution, fluctuation, and change. Life is change. Look at elementary school. Look at recess. When you went outside for recess when you were little, you had your basic games, right? You had your dodgeball, your square ball, your four square. You had that giant metal slide. You got to 1,000 degrees in the sunshine. And if you had a pair of shorts on, it would burn your legs off on the way down. You'd be like, whoa! You always had one kid that tried to run up to everybody's trip and fell. Had a big skid mark down the middle of his face all summer long. You had these weird helicopters or motorcycles on a spring that you would just sit on and just go. And you're like, that was fun. You had my favorite, which was a teeter-totter, because you were with your friends teeter-totter, you're going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And eventually you get bored, so you would just wait till you got all the way down to the ground, and your friend was all the way up in the air, and they just jumped off real fast, and they just went, bam! That's how I roll. It's called gravity. I just Sir Isaac Newton'd you. Some of you are like, who's Isaac Newton? Get off that bus. Then you had the game which every child had to be a WWF wrestler. We'd always stand in two big long lines, all holding hands. We'd yell, another line of kids all over there holding hands. We'd be like, Red Rover, let's Stacy come on over. Now Stacy is supposed to come running over and try to break through our arms like we were holding hands. But as soon as she would get about 2 steps away, we'd just raise our arms to neck level, and she would just go... And you'd be like, ha 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 ha, you're on my team now, Stacy. And then you had, I don't know if you had it where you live, I don't even know what it's called. We just call it the Wheel of Death. Because it was just this giant metal round disc just stuck to the top of a post. And it had all these little posts around the outside. And the premises was, you're supposed to hop on board, grab a hold of one of those posts, and then someone would lightly spin you around in a circle. But there was always someone's older brother, or Uncle Rico, down in the playground. He would get like a running start and just start whipping it around as fast as they could until pretty soon kids are shooting off in every direction. There's always some poor little first grader hanging on going, nah! And then you had a day, maybe even a week, depending on your gym teacher. A day, perhaps an entire week, a couple days where... And honestly, I'm not even sure how they convinced us that this was fun. But you would go down to your gym, and they just called it Parachute Day, or Parachute Week. Because you would go down to your gym and lay it out on the gym floor. It'd be like this 1912 World War II parachute. And all you would do is everyone would run up, grab a piece of the outside, and just go. What? We can get inside? Wow. And then someone would show up with some tennis balls, and they would throw tennis balls in the middle, and they would be like, okay, everybody, we're going to make popcorn, ready to go. This is tiring. And then you had a day where it was raining outside, it was too cold to go outside, you stayed inside and played a game, okay? Same game everyone played all across the country, even up into Canada. The game taught each and every one of us how to be a cheater. Name of the game, Heads Up, 7-Up. Now, if you never played or cannot recall, allow me